If you want to transform your life, you have to give yourself permission to go into your body and really sense what you feel. We're not finding joy every day. We don't have good relationships. We're hung up in the past. We're worried about the future. And we're really missing the gift of the present moment. That's one of the reasons I like these kind of places, is because it's sort of a reset.
From the Pritikin Longevity Center in Miami, Florida, welcome to the Healthier Everyday podcast, where we talk about your health, your fitness, your mindset, the food you eat, and putting it all together to create an amazing lifestyle. In this episode, Carol and Sue discuss the process of transforming your life and improving your overall well-being with the MELT method. This simple self-care technique is designed to mitigate chronic pain symptoms, improve joint mobility, and enhance your overall sense of ease and well-being. Sue Hitzmann is the founder of the MELT method. When she developed chronic foot pain during her career as a fitness pro, no doctor could explain the cause or help her. She dove into research and developed the basis for MELT's unique and innovative techniques. As the director of fitness with decades of experience, Carol Espel leads her team of exercise physiologists and helps Pritikin guests develop a custom fitness routine to get the results they're looking for. Enjoy today's episode and don't forget to like and subscribe.
If you can, describe the MELT method in easy layman's terms.
Simple terms. So MELT is very simply a simple self-care technique that people can use at home to help themselves mitigate chronic pain symptoms. And I mean that on every level. Any type of pain point. It could be joint pain, back pain. It could even be emotional pain, it could be from post-COVID. When our nervous system starts sending us messages that something isn't right, I always say that it's kind of pain can be a motivator. And so what I've learned about chronic pain is, although 100% of the time your brain's what's producing it, I always say if pain is chronic, you have an issue in your connective tissue called fascia. Most people don't know what fascia is, or that it's a supportive quality system. It's a system that stabilizes, supports, and protects everything. And the MELT method addresses the hydration of fascia, the fluid perfusion of fascia, to try to improve joint mobility, your overall sense of ease and well-being. And in that, it helps your nervous system function more efficiently. Like when we have pain, you're walking around, you're bracing, you're adopting compensating patterns. You lose out on a lot of life. So I think really MELT helps people to rejuvenate their quality of life by improving their overall stability and their neurological efficiency. And we use these soft tools, soft rollers, soft balls to teach people how to simulate hands-on therapeutic techniques like I would in my office.
I love the neuromuscular and that is really a differentiator.
Yeah, exactly.
You're really addressing the nervous system in ways that I have not seen other modalities offer.
Yeah, most of us, when you think about transforming how you look in a mirror, right, you think of nutrition, which is so fundamental. And of course, here at Pritikin, this is it, right? Is you are what you eat, right? If you're eating not great food, you're not going to feel great. So I think that's a foundation. Then exercise, right? Exercise is great, but why don't people exercise? It's because they're in pain. Their joints hurt. Even today when I did the session, it was like plantar fasciitis, back pain. I've got a herniated disc. I have sciatica. I have 2 bolts in my foot. It's endless, right? So my job is to explain to people that I get it. When you feel a doctor has, said this is as good as it's going to get, or you feel like you're doing everything that you can, I always ask people, do you know that there is a system in your body that is not addressed by diet and exercise? And in fact, fascia is the system that stabilizes, supports, and protects everything, not just your muscles and bones, not just your alignment, but on a cellular level, we could talk about the extracellular matrix. And that is the aspect of fascia on a microscopic level that keeps your cells stable, gives cell-to-cell communication. It helps with nutrient absorption, waste elimination. And it's also the system that works with your sensory nervous system to allow you to sense and feel the world around you. So
and
that's
how would
important.
you describe fascia? This is a word that's new to, I'm sure, a lot of people.
Sure, and fascia as in overreaching is all of the collagenous soft tissues in your body, including the cells that produce the connective tissue. So fascia is if I had to give you an image of it, it is literally like flexible scaffolding on a microscopic level. It almost looks like little spiders' webs all over the body. And this system is primarily made up of collagen, and it is a tension compression management system. So, again, not just for your muscles and bones, but even for your lymphatic system, which is important for your overall health, right? Your well-being. It helps to transport the fluid flow from the fascial system into the lymphatic system to then release toxins out of the body. So fascia is really a supportive infrastructure that's giving your joint shock absorption, again, cell-to-cell communication, absorption, waste elimination, transportation of nutrients. It's inherently linked to, again, the way that you sense and feel the world around you, and scientific words like proprioception and interoception. So you're what we call the autopilot, those parts of your body that support, protect, and stabilize you without you thinking about it. The fascial system is actually helping your nervous system regulate how to understand where your joints are in space, how you feel. Like if you ever feel hungry, that's interoception. If I asked you to close your eyes and touch the tips of your fingers together, that's proprioception, right? So your ability to move around, ideally, is you don't have to think about it, right? When we have to think about how to get up off a chair, we know our nervous system needs our help. And the problem with treating the nervous system is that's very elusive. But fascia, again, it's a tension compression management system, and you can push and move this fluid flow throughout the matrix and stimulate the fascial system, and in that stimulate your sensory nervous system, send new messages to the brain, and actually in a single session decrease your sense of pain in the body. And I think that's what gets people to come back is, everybody here, I was like, how many of you guys feel different? They're like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was, they were raving coming out of this. And I think it was such a unique and special event. And I know we have part 2 tomorrow and today later with the bendable foam rollers, because you've found and you've mastered these amazing, like you said, soft tools. And not too many people get to see those on a regular basis, say in a fitness facility.
Sure.
But so for you to be able to bring them here to Pritikin and share in ways that I know you saw in your class, most have not ever seen or experienced before. And then for them to understand that, wow, they have through these tools, they actually have a little bit of power. It's very empowering. Because I think, to your point, people, when they are in pain, they're holding on. Most people, when they come here, they just want to get back to the joy of movement, to the joy of life. And to be able to offer something like this, so unique and so is so beautifully designed, but also with great credibility and longevity. And that's part of our that's who we are at Pritikin. But I mean, it's a perfect fit.
We live in a very complex world, and we've got a lot of tools to work with. We haven't really ever been given a manual.
We're not taught how to really care for ourselves. How am I going to lead an active, healthy life?
There's such an important connection between our mental health and our physical health.
If you're somebody who's looking to really focus on your own regeneration, I think what you will love is the program here at Pritikin, a mind-body experience of incredible classes and events.
Yeah, I mean, Pritikin's been around here since the 70s. I mean, I was born in the 1970s. So, again, like these are, even foam rolling, foam rolling has been done for years. And the difference between traditional foam rolling and melt is actually, there's a vast difference in it. When people are using foam rollers, I think they're very hard.
Yes.
And they tend to associate that with pain. And a lot of people think, wow, if I don't feel pain, it's not working. And that's a really interesting mindset. And I always say, soft tissue like soft tools.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather, if you were feeling not great, would you rather somebody walk up and punch you in the face or hug you, right? A hug is actually going to make you almost instantaneously feel better. And when we have pain, I think it really is a mindset. So something I said to the group here, and I think that really, actually everybody laughed and it resonated with them, was have you ever had your neck hurt you? And if somebody's going to do self-myofascial release, they'll tell you to take a ball or a roller and jam it right into your neck. I'm saying, well, that's kind of like the victim of the body. Your body's screaming out for help and you're walking up to it and punching it in the face. And I think to myself, if your kid was crying out for your help, you wouldn't assault them. What would you do? You'd get down at their level. You would calm them down. You would tell them they're safe. Then you would take information in. You might even give them a hug, tell them everything's going to be okay. And then you take information in, and then you would begin to find a solution. But when our bodies are screaming out for our help, we just assault ourselves with tools. So in MELT, you learn what we call the indirect before direct approach. So if you have neck pain, what I taught them was the hand treatment. And you'd be surprised how many people have neck pain, and it's actually inherently linked to what's going on with the dexterity and the use of their hands, as well as low back pain. I've never treated somebody with low back pain and not treated their feet, because your nervous system, when you stand up, is trying to figure out where is your pelvis in relationship to your footing. And what most people do not know about is that the sensory nerves in your hands and feet are very special compared to any other sensory nerve in the body, because this is how your nervous system is equating where is the ground, what are we touching, what am I sensing and feeling, right? And older adults fall because of the lack of sensations in their hands and feet. So, you want to reduce your sense of falling. You want to feel more balanced. You want to feel more stable, and you want to have better control. Treat your hands and feet and just start there. The two most used parts of our body, we never really think to care for except to get a mani-pedi, and there's more we can do.
It's so interesting because we, I guess I've been here almost 3 years now, and I really saw similar needs among our guests, and we started some posture core. Well, the first class we started with is Posture Perfect. And really what we do is we start to address things like what you're describing, but certainly not on the level that you're doing, but also mainly, and we've developed a more posture and balance and stability type programming focus, because that's what people want. They don't want to fall. They want to feel better. They want to feel more stable. They want to feel balanced. And able to sustain their longevity
Well, and MELT doesn't replace those types of programs. No. That's the big thing, is that if you melted your feet and then you did those balance and stability, it just heightens the connection, and it actually helps to keep the results of what you're looking for longer.
That's huge.
That's what we've had. Like, we've actually worked with balance and stability programs where we say, let's take half of the group and half of them are going to use the foot treatment and do the program, and half of them aren't. And after 4 weeks, let's do a balance and stability test. And 100% of the time, the people who have better grounding, better foot structure, better architecture, they are the ones that feel more stable, and they look more stable, and they pass the tests.
Of course.
So that to me is like, our research is showing the transformation and changes, and we've done clinical research studies for low back pain, for balance. This is what's important for people to know is that treating your body and treating fascia should not hurt you. It should feel good. And in fact, it has a long overreaching benefit for the future, right? Think of it like brushing your teeth, right? You don't brush your teeth every once in a while, right? You do it daily so that your breath is clear and you're helping, but it's really every day so that you prevent tooth decay in the future.
Sustainability, right?
That's it.
That's what it is.
And there is a strength-based component to MELT. The neurostrength in the second book that I wrote, there is strength aspects of it that help to reinvigorate pelvic stability, shoulder girdle stability, and core stability. So using the same tools, using the roller, this is more akin to neuromuscular therapy rather than just weight training, right?
I would love to have that.
Well, I'm going to give them a couple of techniques. I'm going to give them the whole reach because, I think when we're working in an intimate setting like this, it's like, what's your problem? Tell me what it is. And I'm going to contour a MELT map for everybody so that you all get something out of it, and we'll address all of the problems that people are talking about.
That's the magic of Sue Hitzmann.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think this is a gift. I just feel like I know my purpose in life is to write stuff down so that I can affect other people and to teach people what I've learned, because I feel like my teachers have reinforced so many good values in me. And I just feel it's my duty to explain it to people. And I've seen so many miracles. We've got 3,000 instructors worldwide now that are sharing MELT all over the world. And we're just I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. And the more times I teach those trainings, and you hear people who have taken decades of Pilates, years of yoga, and they're like, you've just taken all of the study and you've sort of infused it into science that's easy to digest,
Yes.
that really puts the puzzle pieces together.
Yes.
So it's not that it's competing with anything. In fact, the nice thing about Melt is you can do it for 10 minutes. And once you know how to do it, you can kind of work on regions of the body and make global exchange, global changes in the body. I think that's what's
and that's enhancing all the other modalities. Like you said, Pilates, yoga, because oftentimes our guests will come and say just that. Well, should I do yoga? Should I do Pilates? I've heard they're both really,
You should do it. Yes is the answer.
But or I've tried yoga, but it's this or blah blah blah, and everybody is kind of searching. It seems like, and in generally, when guests first come here, like what's the magic answer? And the big picture is there is no panacea, but these are the kinds of things that Pritikin, I think, very uniquely, and I'm proud to say that, but I think very uniquely brings to the table. That these are ways to really look at movement in using tools that you've never even experienced before. Do you have any awareness of it?
We can't wait to welcome you to the Pritikin Longevity Center this summer. Be a part of our world-renowned program and enjoy our lowest rates in years. We're making some exciting improvements to our facility from August 6th through September 17th. During this time, our guests will continue to enjoy the lush grounds and world-class amenities of the Trump National Doral. Guests will remain engaged in the program in our temporary location, steps away from their deluxe accommodations. All at a price that is 40% off our high season rate. Our temporary facilities will be comfortable, luxurious, and convenient for you to experience the life-changing Pritikin program. The prices offered during the renovation will never be matched again. Book a consult today to learn more about these great low rates while they last. Come experience for yourself what over 100,000 people have learned, that Pritikin will change your life for the better.
We're really not taught how to self-care. Most of us just figured it out. I mean, I grew up in a family where my dad kept telling me, nobody's going to take care of you when you get older, so you're going to have to do it for yourself. I'm like, okay, like in a panic at 8 years old, going like, I need to know how to drive a car. I don't think I can drive a car yet.
Go to college now.
Right. But I really think that, there's so much information out there now. Technology has allowed us to have touch points worldwide. There's, you can just write into Bing and ask AI or Chat GPT and you'll get every answer that you want. But I really feel like if you want to transform your life, I think that you have to give yourself permission to go into your body and really sense what you feel. And sometimes we're not happy. We're not finding joy every day. We don't have good relationships. We're hung up in the past. We're worried about the future. And we're really missing the gift of the present moment, right? So that's one of the reasons I like these kind of places, is because it's sort of a reset. People just say, get me out of the normal, mundane day to day. I'm just going to come to Pritikin. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm going to notice what I'm eating. The charts, I saw the chart on the dining table, do I feel satisfied or do I feel like I've eaten so much it's Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I didn't really think about that, but
it's bringing consciousness, right?
Bringing consciousness. And what a great word, right? What is consciousness? I just always feel like consciousness is that in which all experiences arise, with which all experiences are felt, and out of which all experiences are made. Yeah. So consciousness means that you're awake to your present moment. And I just think a lot of us aren't realizing how much of the present moment we're spending living in the past.
We're worried about the future. Worried about
the future. It's like we don't even realize that the way that we're dealing with people, actually it's, like, why am I yelling at this person? Yeah. Well, it's because they're a lot like your parent who was always, telling you can't do this. And now you're sitting here barking at somebody and not making that correlation. But that also, I think, is something that happens when people melt, is that they take more time to go in and really sense what they feel. They're not not hung up in what they see in the mirror
Or-
yes, exactly. Competing with other yogis in the room and, like I didn't balance. And so I feel like an idiot. I've fallen over. How bad.
Yeah.
Here, it's really just your experience.
And not judging.
Not
I really,
judging,
I tell
exactly.
people when they're here, I said, you are the most important person in the world. Make sure everyone knows it.
Yes.
Take the time. That's what we're here
Be
for.
happy.
Ken, congratulations that you can.
Yeah.
I heard
think
this.
we need better relationships, though. I think that
I
we
do
need
agree.
to love one another more.
Yeah.
That's the secret of life, people, is to love one another. Love yourself first and then love everyone else. Even have compassion for people when they're yelling at, like if somebody is really angry or yelling at you, or, again, the experiences where you have loss and the family turns into crazy people, and you just have to look at them and say, I can hold compassion because they don't know how to deal with the situation. And so instead of getting angry at them for not seeing what's really happening or for not having compassion, I'm just going to hold compassion for them and say, I get it. And I'm
going to get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. And I think that you can have a life that's abundant with happiness. And sometimes pain is your body's way of telling you that it needs your help. And we tend to, when our bodies are asking us for something, we seek outside of ourselves. We seek the therapist, the doctor.
External.
Yeah, for them to help us. And so I feel like my gift also, when I treat somebody, is I actually want them out of my office. I don't want them to be in here. I don't want to take your money. I don't want you to be here 20 times. I want you to be here 3 times at most. And I want you to go out there with tools that will help you to find your way back to balance. And it works. I just think, I think sometimes we are afraid that our body's pain is going to last forever.
Oh, very much so. I
Right?
think that's what I see here.
Yeah.
The fear of uncertainty.
Horrible.
And
Horrible. Uncertainty will stop you in your tracks, right?
I heard this great podcast. I can't even remember who the guy was, but he said something really funny, talking about past, present, and future, and the reality of aging. And he said, the past is kind of like a canceled check, right? The future is kind of like a promissory note, but now is the cash. You have the cash in your hand, and there's no time like the present.
That's it. You might not get tomorrow.
You go 100%.
It might not even happen. And that's it. Is I hear people telling these stories. A friend of mine was with me the other day. She was talking herself up into a storm about this future thing. And I'm like, okay, what are the actionable steps you're doing now to get you to be the billionaire? Like, what are you doing today? And, well, I've this and I've that. I'm like, it sounds to me like by the time you get there, you're going to be dead.
Exactly.
Over. And that's it. Like, I think it's great to have goals. I think it's great
ambition
to have,
and all
but
that.
It's when people say, I can't do this until I get these things. And I'm like, that's a slippery slope.
Or
right?
slippery slope, or I won't be happy, or I'll feel so much better when I get this, and then you get that, and then you want something else.
And then you want something else.
I would say the gift of aging, you don't know this yet, but is that you start to become aware that time is the most precious gift.
I already get it. I mean, I'm in my 50s and I think to myself, how did I get here? Because I'm pretty sure I was just 25 like 5 minutes ago. And then I woke up and I'm 52 thinking to myself, what happened? But I also know that I think this is the thing, and I know this for myself, and if you ask anybody, I'll give you a good example. My mother, we were having a conversation, she at 82, and I said, she was talking about, she was frustrated. I said, what's bothering you? She goes, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, well, do you know like how much of your life has already been lived? I said, well, how many more years do you think you're going to be on the planet? And she paused and she said, 20. And I go, you're going to live until you're 102? And she goes, not a chance. I was like,
what?
Wait a minute. You're 82. And she goes, well, I don't feel 82. And I said, aha. See, that's the thing that hooks people, is that when you really ask somebody, how old do you feel? I probably would say, I feel like I'm 30. I feel youthful, I feel vibrant. And that's just it, is we forget that there is a limited amount of time, and nobody wants to talk about the fact that impermanence is part of life.
Right.
So why not? And look, melt, yoga, play. I don't know what's going to help you live longer. But I do know that doing these things will help you live better longer
And quality,
and have better quality for as many years as you're here. So if you live 90 years and they're epic, I would rather have 90 amazing years than 111 where 11 of them or 12 of them or 20 of them were terrible.
Yeah, it's a set term lifespan versus health span.
Yes.
Lifespan, I've come in 100 years. Well, out of those 100 years, how much is that going to be that health?
That's it.
To your point.
Health span is important. And again, like this is a place that breeds that. It's an education to living a more abundant, fruitful life by paying more attention, being more conscious about the choices that you're making. Do you really need that second hamburger? Do you really need French fries? Could you maybe have a salad once in a while? Do you need the soda? Maybe we could have some seltzer with a lemon in it instead today, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of things. Even alcohol. I had a friend who, we were on a boat, and he says, I just like drinking those seltzers because I like the fuzziness and I just like having a drink in my hand. I go, well, why don't we just, let me make you a drink that's non-alcoholic and tell me if you like it. And it had cayenne, ginger, lemon, lime, and seltzer water. And I gave it to him and he was like, I would think I'm drinking alcohol. I'm like, drink the whole gallon today.
Aww.
You could have the whole gallon of pretend alcohol. And all of a sudden, it's like alcohol consumption, it's like 70% less over the course of a month. And what's great is when he says, I don't even miss it. I'm like, you see? So some of it is just habit.
Yeah.
Our habits are actually extremely powerful. And I think that Pritikin is known to break at the habit.
And behaviors,
and
right?
Behavior, habit, same thing, right?
Yeah.
So we can create a bad habit in about 3 tries. You smoke cigarettes 3 times, you actually might get addicted to nicotine. It takes 30 to 300 tries to form a good habit.
Wow.
Which is kind of disappointing. But what it says is that practice and repetition is at the value of overall health, is waking up in the morning and not thinking about tomorrow, but what am I going to do today that's going to better myself today? What could I do? Oh, maybe I could eat a really high quality breakfast. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk in 20 minutes. I'm going to walk for 20 minutes. I'm going to call a friend that I haven't talked to. I say this to everybody: sip water frequently, eat water-filled foods. Call somebody that you love today and tell them why you love them. Tell them that you were thinking about them and that you wish that they were there and you could give them a hug, and watch what happens.
Oh, it's amazing. I
Right?
up to, yes, I think the gratitude thing. I wake up every morning, same thing. Thank you for another day.
I feel better. They feel better. And actually it elevates the frequency of the whole universe, whether you know it or not. You put positivity out into the world and watch how everything around you is just easier, right? When I'm frustrated, I just
Boom.
thank you very much. Goodbye. And I go back and I try to find something joyful. And it really does work. I think we have more control over what we think we don't if we just have a good attitude about everything.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I love that.
Now, do you have a private practice up in Naples?
I do. I not as much as I do in New York. I still get up to New York every 6 weeks, and I do still do treatments up there. Down here, I'd have to get my Florida state license. And so I just don't have time. So I'm not so much in Florida treating people, but, I had somebody who broke their foot. They're like, can I please come in and see you? I said, absolutely, right? I had a friend dislocate her shoulder, come in, right? Yeah. So I find it a joy to work on people. I think that one-on-one is so incredibly magical. But for me, standing in front of a room and empowering people to do something on their own that they could do at home if they just practice, right, I think that's a better gift.
And that's so key to Pritikin too. I think we try to do that as well. But that's exactly what I think why a Pritikin guest comes here is they want to, what can I do when I get home? Because the big block is they're feeling good. This is a controlled environment. And then it's like, oh, now what am I going to do? It's time to go home. And having built in sort of takeaway tools like this experience and being able to self-facilitate, it's so powerful.
It is. It's important, I think.
It is important.
I think your people here, one of the gals after the foot treatment, she goes, that it was a lot of techniques. It was 5 techniques. It was a lot. Is 5, but it is.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I don't know if I could remember that. And I go, good news.
Yeah, it was with
good
you.
news. you're not supposed to remember anything. This was just an introduction, but if you're intrigued, now you can go to YouTube, type in melt method, and you have the ball. Now go do it.
And see, you gave him even the,
Go do it.
Yeah, it's
You know,
fabulous.
I just think you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. But if you felt the change, I said to her, did you remember out of the 5 techniques, which was the one that I told you to remember? She was like, the last one. I said, what did we do? She goes, really lightly rub your hands and feet. I said, that's it. That's it. Just do that one technique once a day, and you'll stimulate the sensory receptors in your feet. Of all things to do, rubbing your hands, rubbing your feet with a soft ball every day will just stimulate mechanoreceptors to help your nervous system equate where your hands and feet are. And I mean, again, one thing. If you just remember one thing, right, is that your body is adaptable, malleable, and changeable. That's what melt means, right?
Yeah.
Is to take a stiff, inflexible, unmalleable, unchangeable system and returning it to what a human body is supposed to be. A malleable, adaptable, changeable, experiential. Fluid, exactly. I want these things for my body. And I always say, I know I'm going to age. I'm just going to do it way later in life.
Yeah, there you go.
Easy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's always such a joy being with you.
Thank
you so much.
I'm so grateful to be back at Pritikin. Everybody should come here. It's awesome. This place is like no other place, really. I think it's...
I have to agree.
Yeah, it really...
It's
I think
compelling.
Of all facilities and how it's run, the blood test, the BMI testing, just the community orientation and what you guys are doing with everybody, all the exercise, the movement. There's so many offerings that I sort of feel like you can kind of just get swept up into it, and sometimes it's like putting the paddles on and clear, and now you can start something new. So when you leave, you've actually adopted new habits.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. I'm grateful to be back, and I look forward to doing it again with you. So
Well, I want you to come back and do the neuromuscular.
I will. Well, I'm going to do some of it with them today,
Yeah.
so we'll see what they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody was looking for you online, how could they find you? Or just what's the best way to find you?
Easy is to go to meltmethod.com, MELT method. And you can find blogs and instructors. And I'm also very active. If anybody wants to see like what melt is, you can go to YouTube, and there's lots of videos there for free. I'm also very active on Instagram and Facebook under Melt Method.
And then you have your one-on-ones, not
All
necessarily
on Melt Method.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah, anybody can find me there. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm not hiding.
Good. That's a good thing. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Healthier Everyday podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. If you're interested in learning more about the Pritikin Longevity Center and how the physician-led team of wellness professionals have been helping people for almost 50 years, visit Pritikin.com. That's Pritikin.com.